Trump's latest comments on immigrants has MAGA self-destructing because he just told them that they're not talented and that H1B immigrants are more talented than them. He even said he was unwilling to train Americans for jobs here in America and that he'd rather import H1B immigrants to do those jobs. After campaigning on how immigrants were taking their jobs and he's restoring jobs to the United States, he has now turned his back on MAGA to save money, and MAGA is furious. Let's see what he had to say about this in this video.
There's never going to be a country like what we have right now.
And does that mean
the Republicans have to talk about it, Laura.
And does that mean the H1B visa thing will not be a big priority for your administration? Because if you want to raise wages for American workers, you can't flood the country with tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands of foreign workers.
You also do have to bring in talent. When
we have plenty of talented people here.
No, you don't.
We don't have talented people here?
No, you don't have certain talents, and people have to learn. You can't take people off an unemployment line and say, I'm going to put you into a factory where we're going to make missiles, or I'm going to put
How did we ever do it before?
Well, I'll give you an example. In Georgia, they raided because they wanted illegal immigrants out. They had people from South Korea that made batteries all their lives. You know, making batteries are very complicated. It's not an easy thing and very dangerous. A lot of explosions, a lot of problems. They had like 500 or 600 people, early stages, to make batteries and to teach people how to do it. Well, they wanted them to get out of the country. You're going to need that, Laura. I mean, I know you and I disagree on this. You can't just say a country's coming in, going to invest $10 billion to build a plant, and going to take people off an unemployment line who haven't worked in 5 years, and they're going to start making missiles. It doesn't work that way.
Trump just told MAGA, I do not care that you're unemployed. Because if you are unemployed, then to Trump, you are not useful. This is the same guy that wants to defund and not pay out SNAP payments and just defund healthcare for low-income Americans twice. And now those same exact immigrants he called the enemy from within are getting flown in to take the jobs MAGA thought they were going to get. How many times does Trump have to turn his back on you for you to realize he does not care about you? Let's actually look at this subjectively. This is the same guy who's telling people not to go to college, they're going to indoctrinate them. But now he's saying they don't have enough talent and they're not trained enough for these jobs. So he's going to fly in the people that did go to college and have them take the jobs because he can pay them up to 30% less. It's why billionaires hire H1Bs in the first place. They can pay them significantly lower and they're easier to control because these people are desperate for jobs. We never got the $5,000 stimulus check after he fired over 300,000 government workers. We're not going to get the $2,000 stimulus check he promised because Scott Bessent just exposed him saying it's not coming. Scott Bessent said the $2,000 stimulus check that Trump said he's going to give us is going to show through lower prices in groceries, aka we're not getting it. The point of Trump's tariffs was to create more jobs. In his words, there's less jobs. Over 150,000 people lost their jobs last month in October, and there was 50,000 more jobs lost than gained in the month of October. We're in the negatives, and now Trump wants to sit here and say that he does not care if you're unemployed. He doesn't care if you lost your job because of him and his promises. He doesn't even want to train you because he thinks you have no talent. He's just gonna fly in immigrants that he can pay 30% less to do the same job he promised America. And MAGA is furious. They still haven't forgiven Vivek Ramaswamy. They still haven't gotten over this video right here, where they basically expelled Vivek from MAGA and we never saw him again. And it was actually a couple things. He made a social media post explaining why billionaires hire foreign H1B visa workers over Americans, where he tells Americans they have a bad culture and he told them they're mediocre compared to H1Bs who have a superior culture because, according to him, the American culture is a culture that celebrates the prom queen over the math Olympiad champ or the jock over the valedictorian, and it will not produce the best engineers, leading MAGA to immediately resort to racism, especially when they found this clip of him saying neither of his parents were legal in this country, so when he was born, he wasn't legal either. Let's play that clip.
I believe in being consistent about my policies where...
So your father is not a citizen of the United States?
He's not.
Okay. And your mother, when did your mom take the citizenship test? Was it before or after you were born?
After I was born.
After you were born. Okay.
After years of being in this, following the legal process of becoming a naturalized citizen, she followed it through the legal process. And
so you gained citizenship through birthright then?
Well, but you gain citizenship through birthright citizenship in that sense too, right? I mean, every American. So what I want to do is revive a vision of citizenship where every kid who enjoys...
I'm sorry, just to backtrack. So your father is not a citizen, your mother...
They came to this country legally.
Very weird response from him, but I really think he was trying to align himself and not be ousted by the white supremacy that represents MAGA, to the point that he got super defensive and tried to call her a natural-born citizen of America. And then here, months later, you have Trump saying the exact same thing. Do you know why? It is because they are both billionaires. The Nazis and MAGA seem to think that their vision of white supremacy outweighs the people they support's need for control and power. Trump hasn't done a single thing for MAGA. How many times does he need to stab them in the back for them to wake up? Oh wait, they are waking up in strange ways. They're in the comment section of this video saying they're turning into groypers, furthering Nick Fuentes' power, which is actually good because it just causes them to self-destruct even more. I mean, they're in the comments calling Trump a lifelong Democrat. They're calling him a centrist, saying how are they to the right of Donald Trump, which is just another way to call him a Democrat for some reason, because anybody they disagree with is just automatically a Democrat, and they are calling him out to his face. Not a good look. There are plenty of laid off employees these last months that need the jobs that are being starved from the market due to overall H1B guidelines. This isn't about the talent of those in the unemployment line. Quite ironic considering that he isn't doing anything on education and is instead crowding our colleges with foreigners, which will keep tuition rates high. Trump acts within his own self-interest, disregarding the needs of the Americans he's supposed to be leading and helping. Instead, he tells them they're too dumb and can't be trained after telling them not to go to college because it's radicalizing them. But he also hates educated people and loves the uneducated. So in what time period of ever could you have possibly thought he was going to do something for you? On one hand, he loves the uneducated. On the other hand, he just called you unemployable and untrainable. And we've said this many times before, if Trump cannot use you, if you are not useful to him, he will throw you away like you're nothing and not think twice about it. And that is why MAGA is leaving and crumbling. You see more and more people shifting to independent every single day. And while we just lost 50,000 jobs last month and there's more unemployed people than jobs available, he's flying in H1B immigrants after promising MAGA to bring American jobs to America. Apparently not the high paying ones, because the H1Bs will do it for 30% less. And it doesn't end there. After telling MAGA not to go to college, Trump claimed he had 600,000 Chinese students coming into the US to go to college. And after that, he says colleges in the United States are going out of business and that he knows what MAGA wants better than anybody else. Apparently not, because they are furious at this. Let's take a look at this video.
Folks are not thrilled about this idea of hundreds of thousands of foreign students in the United States. We have about 350,000 Chinese. One point during COVID, you were going to, push to, get them out, but that was pulled back. You've said as many as 600,000 Chinese students could come to the United States. Why, sir, is that a pro-MAGA position when so many American kids want to go to school and there are places not for them and these universities are getting rich off Chinese money?
Sure. Never said about China, but we do have a lot of people coming in from China. We always have, China and other countries. We also have a massive system of colleges and universities. And if we were to cut that in half, which perhaps makes some people happy, you would have half the colleges in the United States go out of business.
So what?
Well, I think that's a big deal.
Are they fans
you would have the
of the United States?
Yeah, but you would have, as you know, historically, black colleges and universities would all be out of business. You would have a system of colleges and universities.
So we're dependent on China to keep our university system going?
But I think it's good to have, I actually think it's good to have outside countries. Look, I want to be able to get along with the world.
They're not the French. They're the Chinese. They spy on us. They steal our intellectual property.
What, do you think the French are better?
Yeah.
I mean, really? I don't know. I'll tell you, I'm not so sure. We've had a lot of problems with the French, where we get taxed very unfairly on our technology, where, they put 25% taxes on American products. Look, assuming everyone treats us badly, because that's the way I am, but we take in trillions of dollars from students. The students pay more than double when they come in from most foreign countries. I want to see our school system thrive, but at the same time, I know you and I disagree. We're never going to agree on it, but that's okay. And it's not that I want them, but I view it as a business. We have millions and millions of people. Also, I want to get along with countries if possible. People are shocked. Remember, Hillary Clinton said, we'll be in a war. I stopped 8 wars in the last 9 months. I don't want to be in wars. If I am in a war, we're going to win the thing fast, and it'll be violent. But you know what? I don't want to be in wars. But one thing, You don't want to cut half of the people, half of the students from all over the world that are coming into our country, destroy our entire university and college system. I don't want to do that.
I wouldn't lose any.
And don't forget, MAGA was my idea. MAGA was nobody else's idea. I know what MAGA wants better than anybody else. And MAGA wants to see our country thrive.
You hear that, MAGA? He doesn't want you to get educated or trained, but what he will do is educate and train people from outside the country and then hire them on H1B visas over you. Why? Because in his words, you are unemployable and untrainable. But he loves the uneducated because of the blind faith and support you give him throughout all of this. No matter how many times he stabs you in the back, you're always there for him, moving the goalpost for him with another excuse because you cannot admit you were wrong about him. The worst thing for any adult to go through in their growth is having a need to be right and the inability to admit when you were wrong. Because you cannot start to grow until you go, I've made a mistake. How can I do better next time? We even have ultra MAGA calling out Trump for turning on them. You go to their profile, in the end we win. Trump is the president, Christian conservative, everything we expect. I am ultra MAGA. Of course you are. You have a Trump profile pic. No president. We don't want massive numbers of foreign students in our colleges. We want lower college tuition so more Americans can afford to attend college without going into huge amounts of debt. And these people are also making entire posts. I am one of the largest pro-Trump commentators in the nation. I get tens of millions of views every single month talking about Trump's America's First agenda. And right now, I'm absolutely effing beyond pissed off that tonight, as a justification for H1B visas, Trump said that Americans don't have talent. Absolutely unreal. No, Matt Morse, it's very real. How many times do we have to say Trump does not care about you? And remember what I said about having an independent thought in MAGA. You are not allowed to have an independent thought or you are ousted from the cult. You cannot think critically. You think what Trump thinks and that's it. Because right under his post, they start attacking him. You need to put the phone down and read your Bible. Nobody gives a F who you are or how you feel. Trump is right. Americans are dumb as a rock. That's a fact. You're American. You can only lie so long before the truth leaks out, because what you do in the dark will come to light. He destroyed the economy and job market and now wants to fly in immigrants that he can pay less than actual Americans. After telling MAGA immigrants were the problem, in his words. This is the part where Trump forgets he called them the enemy from within and that him ruining the economy was all a part of this grand big plan to make more American jobs available. Caught in yet another one of his web of lies. This time by his own fan base. And this guy says the quiet part out loud.
Of course, there's so much H1B abuse. You would not believe what I saw when I was in Silicon Valley. It is insane. It's obviously a program to try and replace U.S. workers with basically slave labor that can't ever escape. The H1B abuse is
control, power, leverage. That is all they care about. I also suspect that this is going to devastatingly blow up in Trump's face, and he's going to try to save face tomorrow. So there will probably be a part 2 for this video, so look out for that. And finally, let's look at this DM from a MAGA person who voted for Trump 3 times, who said they're tired of MAGA and they can't say this out loud, so they have to privately message about it. 3-time Trump voter 2016, 2020, 2024, and I regret it entirely. Trump is a POS traitor and has slowly decayed into becoming another Israel first boomer neocon. I'm tired of the lies, gaslighting, and deflection. I will no longer vote for Trump, Vance, or the GOP. The H1B issue is the most insulting. I'm in tech and it's the reason why I can't get a job, all while trying to support a disabled sibling and elderly parents. I wish Trump never turned his head in Pennsylvania. Which is such an ironic sentiment, because MAGA never seems to care what Trump does until it affects their lives. Luckily for us, Trump doesn't care whether or not he affects their lives. And ultimately, Trump will be the cause of his own self-destruction, because these people are crumbling. They're feeling it. Imagine dedicating 4 years to a computer science degree just for the president to tell you you have no talent. We're gonna fly in some people overseas instead. It's over for Trump by midterms. It's becoming more clear every single day. And it looks like MAGA's beginning to get tired of getting stabbed in the back. And with that being said, release the Epstein files, Donald Trump. Thank you very much for watching this video. Please make sure to leave a like, comment, and subscribe. I hope you have a great day, and I'll see you next time.